What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly ramble number 3. Today we've actually got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to go through it fairly quickly. That way this video doesn't take up too much time. The first thing I do want to mention, we had a couple events over the last weekend. So SCG Open in Atlanta was this past weekend. That does accommodate Legacy, Standard, and Modern, so all three formats. Interesting things to note here. Modern, we had humans take 4 of the top 8 spots. It also did win the tournament, so humans looking to be a little bit, it's not on my radar quite yet, but it's definitely catching up. The humans deck has been, I think, on a lot of people's radar recently anyway, just because it's so powerful. It's got a lot of interaction, a lot of really high value creatures, and can just power out a champion of the parish into however strong you need it to be. So granted, there are a lot of cards that do very, very well against humans. Fatal Push in particular is great against the majority of the deck, but again, things like Thalia slow that down a little bit. There's just plenty of ways to interact with all of the decks that beat humans. So it's good. It's very, very good, and I'm not surprised to see it take so many spots in that top 8. Although I do hope that in the future it doesn't do quite as well, just because I don't want to see it banned. I think it's good. I don't think it's unbeatable. So that was really the highlight there with humans. Again, it did take the win and then 4 of the top 8 spots, so a lot there. Legacy, we actually saw 3 Grixis Delver decks pull out in the top 8, which is awesome. I really like Grixis Delver in Legacy. I think it's a really awesome deck. It did not, however, win the tournament. We did see Death and Taxes win, so kind of awesome there. Actually, I like Death and Taxes. Occasionally you get to see Death and Taxes come up and pull out a win, but it is well positioned against certain decks, probably including Grixis Delver, if I had to guess. And so I'm not too surprised to see it win. Again, it pops up every once in a while. I'm really happy to see Grixis Delver, though. I feel like Delver decks over the last few tournaments that I've looked at have always been there, but not done quite as well. There's just other decks like lands and things like that that are a little more janky, but also a little bit faster on the go. And so I think Delver has kind of taken a back seat recently. I could be off base with that. Again, I don't play competitive Legacy, so I don't know completely. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it definitely seems that way. So I'm happy to see Grixis Delver back, and again, Death and Taxes winning. Standard, this was pre-Dominaria, I just want to point out. Rakdos Aggro took 3 of the top 8 spots. I know Red Deck Wins was in there, of course. But Blue-White Control actually won it. Not too surprising. Blue-White Control has been a strong contender in Standard recently. Also, the aggro decks have been really good, though, so it's nice to see a good mix in Standard. I'm not going to harp on that too much because the next thing we're going to talk about is the MTGO PTQ for Standard, where we actually got to see Dominaria hit the format for the very first time, and I am very happy to say that Dominaria is hitting in a huge way. We're seeing all kinds of new lists, as well as a few old lists, but with a few updates. As kind of expected with most rotations, or with most includes of new sets, we do see aggro decks kind of take the forefront of Standard, at least for the first like 2 to 3 months-ish. And it definitely seems to be that way. Out of the top 8, I believe 6 of the 8 decks were all aggro-based and varieties of aggro decks, which I think is really awesome. All kind of sporting some kind of green package, I suspect for Steel Leaf Champion, because that card is amazing. If you don't know, it's a 5/4 for 3 green. And I believe it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Correct me again if I'm wrong, but I believe that's correct. And so we do see Selesnya aggro up there. Mono Green Stompy is going to be a deck, and it was in the top 8. Bant aggro was also in there. One that did not show any green cards, which I think is awesome, was Orzhov aggro. There's just so many powerful cards. I'm really, really excited, honestly, because I think this format with Dominaria is going to be a very, very powerful one. There are definitely some cards that enable some really crazy decks. And so, again, Steel Leaf Champion being one of the aggro side. But on the other side, we do see a couple of Blue-White Control lists still, and they are all running Teferi, to nobody's surprise. Teferi is sweet. If you don't know, it's like a 5 casting cost Planeswalker, 3 a blue and a white, and it has 3 abilities that are perfect for a control shell. I mean, genuinely perfect. So it's pretty awesome to see a 5-mana Planeswalker hit. In Standard, that's not too surprising. I'd be interested to see how Teferi plays out in other formats, because I do think he's just a bit too expensive, but he is very, very powerful, and so I wouldn't be too surprised to at least see some deck lists floating around with him in it. But again, Blue-White Controlled was in the top 8 with Dominaria cards. Teferi was really the big contender from Dominaria that hit these decks. There were definitely a couple other cards, but nothing quite as notable as Teferi. The last thing I do want to mention about Standard right now is Teferi. If you didn't see this, Teferi, a foil Teferi hit $20,000 or some crazy amount on TCG Player because it was the only one left or something like that. I know Cardsphere had Teferi. They posted an announcement on Twitter saying they were kind of locking in the price for Teferi. That way that kind of thing wouldn't happen on their platform. It's kind of insane. Obviously, that's not going to hold up, and I'm sure by the time this video has gone up that has already plummeted like crazy. But it's just kind of silly. It shows you how hyped I think that this set has been. It really, really is awesome to see Dominaria hitting in such a big way. I know when we saw some of the past sets, like Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation, obviously we saw quite a few cards hit decks, but nothing really quite as powerful as the cards we're seeing now. Shalai is one of the, I think, most insane cards ever from this set. It gives you and everything you have hexproof. Yes, they can still kill her, but if you have 2 of them out, well, I guess you can. It's a legendary creature, but you can really do some work with her. She's also just really strong. like what I've noticed about this set is, like, you pay 3 mana for a 2/2 with double strike or with first strike, vigilance, and lifelink or something like that. Plus, it makes all equipments cost a little bit less. Like, that's just normal. Like, obviously 3 mana for a 2/2 is terrible, but with all those keywords and an ability that in Constructed at least could be very relevant, it's insane. Like, the power level of these cards is amazing. So I'm really happy to see this because it's really going to shake up the meta. It already has. I'm really interested to see, at that 2 to 3 month mark where the deck lists tend to gravitate, because it could very easily go more into a control shell. I still really, really want to see also where Karn fits in. We talked about this on the podcast episode, so if you didn't see that, I would highly suggest checking it out. But we did talk a little bit about how Karn really hasn't seen any deck lists yet. It's the card everybody was like, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people were most hyped about. I still really like him. I think he's amazing. But he's not the big stompy Karn liberated that we've all come to know and love. And so, or hate, I guess. And so he's not really finding his home quite yet. But we do talk about a list, at least the culmination of a list that might actually want him. Excuse me. And so I'm excited to see if that actually happens. And if it doesn't, I'm going to try and put it together and see if we can make something happen with that. Again, Karn's a really good card. He just hasn't found his place yet. So I'm hoping that he does. He's very, very powerful, I think, without a doubt. So I'm excited, though. Hopefully you guys are too. Again, it's great to see a new Dominaria hit the standard meta so hard. I am interested to see how Dominaria hits other formats. I don't know of any specific cards that I'm like really excited about hitting a certain deck or anything like that. So I tend to just kind of sit back and let things happen and then see how it turns out in a few months, because normally it does take a little bit for cards to really find their home. So we will see. I'm sure with upcoming tournaments, obviously prices and things like that are going to be changing. So just keep an eye out for that. We don't go in too much to prices other than a $20,000 Teferi, but if you do want to keep up with prices and things like that, I would highly suggest going to check out our partner channel, Burst of Knowledge. His link is in the description. You can check him out. He likes to do a lot of the financial sides of things, so definitely go look at his stuff. After that, I did want to talk about, yeah, this is important, weekend recording plans. Okay, so you've heard us talk before over the past probably month or so about how we really want to record some high-quality gameplay along the lines of game nights, not anywhere close to that good. We are not that good. Just going to go ahead and say it. But we do want to put in the effort and see what we can get out of that. And so this weekend, I believe, is going to be the weekend where we actually get to test and see what we can get out of this. We may actually record it and at the very least do a sort of like behind the scenes kind of thing, or if it's good enough, we'll actually make a episode out of it and post it for you guys. So hopefully that's something you guys can look forward to. Again, there's a lot of infrastructure stuff that goes into that, and we're a small YouTube channel, and so unfortunately it's not always the most cost-effective thing to do some of the stuff that we do. Crack-a-packs come to mind, because really financially that is like a sinkhole, man. Like, it is so bad, but it's fun to do, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you don't, by all means let us know, and we won't do it anymore. We'll find something else to do that hopefully you guys will enjoy a little bit more. But it is fun for us because we get to open up all these old packs and hopefully give you guys an experience that most channels, at least from what we've seen, don't really get to do. Obviously there's a few and they do it way better than we do, but being able to open some of these packs is just really, really awesome. So hopefully you guys can enjoy that. Hopefully you guys can enjoy this gameplay stuff that we hope to get out to you guys as soon as possible. Again, it's just a lot of work, and work schedules and things like that get in the way a lot, which has caused us to kind of put things on hold, but we're working towards that. So hopefully you guys can see that soon. The last thing I do want to mention, we have a Dominaria giveaway going on right now. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, all you have to do to enter is actually sub to the channel and then comment on any video with hashtag Dominaria giveaway. You can do it on this video, you can do it on any video you want. We will get a notification for that and obviously post your name in our list. We've already got like 50 or 60 people, which is awesome. You guys, honestly, so I'm going to take a minute to gush over you guys because over the past few giveaways especially, but even in the beginning, a lot of the giveaway stuff has done really, really well for us because it boosts our channel numbers and our views and things like that, because hopefully it gets you guys interested in what we're doing. We have seen retention-wise, a lot of people are sticking around, which is awesome. I think it's great. A lot of you guys have even posted comments saying how much you appreciate what we're doing, as well as saying stuff like, you know, we're not getting the appreciation we deserve, that kind of thing. That stuff really speaks to us. We cannot thank you guys enough. It really does kind of tug at the heartstrings a little bit just because we're putting a lot of effort into this, and hopefully it's something that you guys enjoy, and for you guys to really go out of your way to say it means a lot to us. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you all who are participating in the Dominaria giveaway already. Again, if you want to join, sub to the channel, comment on any video with hashtag Dominaria giveaway. That's all you got to do. And we will announce the winner probably everywhere, on Instagram, podcast, episodes, something like that, and actually contact you directly on where to send things through. We do ship, by the way, for giveaways. We are starting to ship through Card Kingdom because it just kind of cuts down on shipping stuff. So what we'll do is we'll get an address from somebody and then send it directly from Card Kingdom. If you're not okay with that, I'm sorry. Also, I do want to mention, if you're outside of the US, what we'll do instead is give a PayPal payment for the amount that the product is worth. So with this, we're giving away 10 packs of Dominaria. 10 packs. 10 shots at Karn. Or foil Teferi. Yeah, that's the plan. So just make sure you guys enter that. The winner will be chosen on this following Monday. Stay tuned for that. But I think that's going to wrap up this weekly ramble, guys. That went a little bit longer. Hopefully not too bad. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But stay tuned for the next few weeks in particular for all the new content coming out. And stay tuned next week for the next weekly ramble. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next video.